Were we going to an ice area? Can we actually set it up for, if we go to this, no, Oliver was not the contact. Oliver was the system name. So the system name here is this one. How do we see what type of area it is? I don't think it was ice. I think those are 2 ice right next to it. So this is a, how do I see that? Active factions, travel time, travel cost. Rocky world. Does this one say like ice world? No, it doesn't say shit. So how do I tell the climate of the locations we're going to then? Exciting. Okay. I think you're correct. Half if not, and that's how I'm reading that too right now. Okay. All right. So what then, if anything, can we refit on this setup? Heat efficiency right now. Heat sinking is 69. Alpha strike is 80. Shut down at 100. And if I throw on, like, so we either have to drop heat sinks. We can drop heat sinks. So say we dropped heat sinks for, how much do they weigh? Say we drop the small laser and heat sinks right now. 1, we have to drop 2 of them and then throw a little bit more armor. So let's say we did that. Decided we wanted to drop, well, actually it should be over here, but something like that, right? This is 2 heat sinks down. Brought our armor back up to par and figured about how to do that. Did we take the torso damage? No. Okay. Game is dope. This game is fucking sick, Galvia. This game is super fun. And let's say we wanted to go ahead and throw the jump jets on. So 2 to a torso. What are we actually looking at for heat now? So this is the weight, 4932. So we've got a little bit more armor we can put on it, which we want. Anyways, I would love a little bit more back armor too. This is super light back armor in my opinion. Maybe we just raise it there. Don't really like to be hit in the back, of course, but what are you gonna do? So if we look at something like 40 back, it's too much. Minus that, up that. All right. So center torso is a little bit more shielded. Again, I don't really care that much about the arms. I mean, the other thing is we could drop 2 of the medium lasers, but I think Alpha Strike's pretty valuable. I actually wouldn't mind getting another medium laser in here too. I just don't think we can. What's the weight? It's 1, right? Yeah. Okay. Just move some armor around. All right, center torso 150, 100, 100. All right, not ideal, but a little bit more armored. Maybe even steal a little bit more armor off the arms for back of the torso, since the opponents did seem to flank us pretty heavily. I like full armored. Based on the initial game, I really did like full armored mechs, but we're of course making trade-offs repeatedly here on weight. So maybe we can fix that as we pick up lighter armor later. Okay, but let's say we run in this right now. What's the heat efficiency like? All right, we're generating, Alpha Strike's generating 72. We cooled off a little bit by not using the lasers, or not using the light. But an Alpha is what we're using every single turn on this. Heat's 63. So we will overheat slowly, but not that. I mean, we got a lot of turns of fighting out of this. We get, if we're upping 9 heat per, and the jump heat's only 8, like that seems fairly reasonable. Due to the range of weapons mechs carry and the importance of survivability, armor tends to be a better choice as it gives you more time in the field and mitigates time-consuming expensive repairs. Heat sinks are great, but you can pick and choose which weapons to fire, thereby managing heat during the fight. That's certainly a better comment, Ricksteady, and a better way to present it. You still have to spend time in this game putting armor back on, so you don't totally do that. And armor doesn't full heal like in the base game. This is a mod. And we're looking at it right now. We're trying to do a little bit more informed than just all armor, because all armor costs you something, right? And the fact if you just put all armor on is you decrease your weapon loadout. So it's a decision more than it is just one or the other. All right, I think I'll throw a little bit more into center, probably. Maybe 1 more out of that. So we're at 45 there. If we dump that down 1 somewhere. I just want to take these fucking arms off. We could move the medium laser to the head, lose the accuracy bonus for being on the arm, drop this arm way down. If we wanted to. mean, if we drop this to 0 and try to turn one specific side, we're going to get critical hits on this arm all the time, but I don't really necessarily care. These traits. So in the base game, I don't remember if these were things that happen. 10% melee damage, 5% melee stability, 5% to the standing up piloting skill. The price of replacing an arm every other fight due to one errant shot is annoying. Is the price of replacing an arm different than the price of just repairing this? Like, I don't know how that breakdown in cost goes. I think Ricksteady was trying to say, that's probably Rocksteady actually. Rocksteady was probably trying to say that there was a difference to it. It's expensive. Okay, well, I'm thinking, like, I guess, all right. So this is just structure right now. But let's say we gave it a little bit, like enough to take a hit or something, but not more than basically one hit. And we did that. What does that look like in terms of where can I spread the armor? I mean, we can get a lot more fucking armor that I care about here. Still over tons. Fair amount more armor that I care about. Like getting flanked and killed sucks. Structure damage and structures massive repair times. Yeah, I see. All right. I think we'll go back to the compromise we did, which was basically bring the arms down to about 60. We're trying to get some back armor so we don't get flanked and fucking destroyed the first time someone with a jump jet shows up. But we still need some there, which probably means we can't do quite as much as we'd like to do. Maybe bring this down to like 110, which is still an improvement, and then bring this down to like 145, like that. Okay. 60, 60, 90, 90, 110, 110. All right. So small tweaks, maybe good, maybe not. We'll check it out. We did lose a small laser to get a little bit, to get jump jets and the rest of it on a little bit of heat stuff. This seems fine to me. I wonder how efficient I move shit around. If I remember correctly, so this is 15K, right? I'm pretty sure if I pull a heat sink off and then put it back on, oh, it did not charge me twice for that. That's nice. I was a little worried it would. And if I move these down for sanity's sake, does this go up? 15.8. And what was it the other way? Still 15.8, right? Okay, that's nice, because I seem to remember moving them positionally in the base game cost you shit. All right. Do we want to spread the jump jets out? Probably. Do we want to spread the heat sinks out more? Probably not. So does this cost me money? That will cost me money to do that. Maybe we just leave it as is. Okay, that looks roughly okay. I would like, oh, I have room in the center torso, and the center torso can't mount weapon systems at all. So actually jump jets should be here in the center torso with one in either. That looks okay. I don't think jump jets can explode in any way that matters, and we're not storing ammo there. Okay, so that's an upgrade for this. That's fine. We'll confirm this is an 8-day build. We have 8-day travel time, so that works out pretty well. We'll confirm that and stick this in. The only downside is, oh, the only downside is it's fucking 8 days of work to do that, apparently. All right, so what did we end up doing? We ended up, let me just see if we, if the setup we chose in terms of, so we ended up with what? We ended up with 60, 110, 45, 110, 60, 90, 90. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem, Iron Hand, is that the refitting of this, the opportunity cost, is not refitting something else. So I just want to take a quick look at this. This was 110, 45, 110, 45. Middle one was 135 torso. And that was 135.50. Okay, and then we minus 2 heat sinks. And we added, and we minus 1 small laser and added 4 jumps. Okay. All right. So take this, we're gonna revert these changes back out of this. I wanted to do 2 things from this. And the first was, all right, if we do this more efficiently, so if we go that off, that off. No, that's wrong. Shouldn't be that one. Should be 2 from this side. Because if this torso gets blown up, we don't care about how much heat sinks we have. So this is 0 days just to strip stuff. Re-adding stuff apparently is what takes it. So if we go to the jump jets, we wanted 1 here. That's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, still 3 days. And then the armor stuff took time as well, because this is a massively less intensive thing. All right, so we took this down to 60. It's not adding time right now. And we brought this up to 110. It's adding cost but not time. Yeah, so something we did initially when we were messing around with looking at configurations added a shit ton of time to this. Did that go to 4 to 5 or was that 5? I can't remember. All right, and then this is going to go up to 135 and 50. And this was going to go up to 45s each. Went to 5. So this is adding small amounts of increment. Okay, it is adding small amounts of time then. Each piece of armor. Okay. And these were going down. See, this is... Okay, so the armor reconfiguring is costing us actually about half the time as the weapon reconfiguring. Good to know. We might reconfigure the armor at another date then. I think this is really weak back armor, and it's scary amounts of back armor, because then we just get jumped on behind and critted to death, which is not really where we want to be. But I think their priority, and it looks like there's going to be prioritization in what the mech bay is going to be filled with. I think the prioritization of the mech bay needs to be on repairing the armor that we've lost, changing the weapon systems around, and making sure our other mechs are decent fighters. This weapon, this ship wasn't terrible. This line holder really wasn't terrible to begin with. The things that we noticed from it were the LRMs were kind of meh. The mix of weapon systems on this wasn't particularly exciting to me. The long-range large laser in particular is very, very intense in terms of heat and not that great in terms of damage output. I kind of am considering trying to put the new weapon that we picked up, the new missile launcher on there, which was it's under SRM. It's a heavy MRM. It weighs optimal 270. What's the weight? 10 tons on this. Takes 5 slots. And what do the LRMs weigh? Tonnage 2. So this is actually quite heavy. Maybe not something we can get on. Maybe we can though. What does the ER laser weigh? 5. So if we took the ER lasers off and took the LRMs off as well. So this is 2 tons each. So that's 9 then. Probably can strip some heat sinks for that too. And this leaves us with making it into more of a medium ship, which kind of makes a bit more sense based on its armor loadout. So if we threw this on where? Oh, it doesn't even... Can it even go there? So if it takes 4 slots, does that require 4 launcher slots? Slots 5, rather. I feel like I ought to be able to put it on that arm right now. We have the slots for it. Oh, it went. Okay. It was just doing weird things with the interface. Okay. Alright, what's our heat efficiency right now? We're way overheat because this thing throws out... Heavy, medium range missile launchers fire volley missiles can use different ammo. Okay. We have no ammo for this yet. Where is our heat coming from? Or is this just this boat just like naturally like way the fuck overheat? Heat sinking 39, alpha strike 30. Literally firing 2 lasers. Is there another weapon system on here? Pulse lasers generate a lot of heat. Heat 15. What's the regular medium laser? Out of curiosity. Regular medium laser is 9. Damage is way the fuck better though. Damage 20, damage 33. We're getting a 50% damage increase off of medium pulses. Do they weigh the same? Tonnage 2. They weigh twice as much. Still take the same slot though. And they use about 50% more heat too. Actually, the heat efficiency is slightly worse than a regular medium laser. Yeah, pulses have that sweet accuracy bonus, and also the evasion. They ignore evasion, so it's like a double accuracy bonus, right? So it's plus 2 accuracy, which is pretty cool. All right. Well, where can we get weight on this system? This system is not running currently. It has a fairly big engine in it for its tonnage. Well, it's a heavier mech than the Hunchback by 5, so maybe not that much of a heavier engine. So where are all of its weight? All of its weight's in armor right now. I mean, we can pull the LRM ammo, of course, if we're going to pull that off. We're going to have to replace that with medium MRM ammo if we're doing that. We could just put, do we have more laser hardpoints on this? We do. We could just throw a couple more medium lasers on it and call it a day and run 2 medium laser boats, which would be okay. We won't get to use the MRM right now, but the MRM is not particularly easy to fit on this mech. I mean, honestly, we would have to strip armor to do that, right? We could add heat sinks, armor, maybe jump jets, and then make this just a laser boat, which would be fine. Ferros would save us some weight. I don't think we have Ferros fiber armor, right? So I don't think that's something we can consider. And I want to get this fucking Beagle probe in on somebody, probably one of the light mechs. Although it weighs, it's only 1.5 tons. All right, so it doesn't look like we're gonna realistically get that, whatever it is on. We have some more medium lasers on some of the light mechs. Let's just back out of here without doing anything and take a quick look at what we're looking at with these. So this is a SRM. This is the ER SRM build. Yeah, the PPC and the SRM build rather. And this one here has medium lasers. It doesn't say if it's pulse or not. Does the other one say pulse? Yeah, it says medium pulse. Okay. And this guy, I can't tell his loadout from here. Okay. Keep up the strategy game streaming. Thanks for being here. We're doing some strategy with this one today. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more hype for the Battletech stuff, because I'd like to do a full playthrough of Roguetech. And we're going to get started. It's going to take us a minute to get started, just because there's a lot of upfront cost of figuring out the systems until we can get into the nitty-gritty of the game. All right. So if we've got, what was it, 8 days to travel there? We really only have a little bit of time then. And this is going to take a day to rebuild the spider, apparently, which is fine. And then the rest of it, I think we can build a couple days of moving the systems around the Hunchback. We'll have to redo its armor later. We can repair it and then move the heat sinks and lasers around to get the jump jets on. I think like 4 days of that is probably worth it for the mobility on the Hunchback, which I like. So that's probably a priority repair. So that puts us up to 5 days. So we've got about between 3 and 4 days of movement on the rest of them. So this thing has been fairly effective as it is. Not amazing, but fairly effective. It's been okay. This thing was absolute. This thing is, the PPC is fine. The one that was actually the worst is the one that's currently being repaired. This was the 2 medium lasers on a small unit. It did fucking nothing. And this guy was pretty bad too, mostly because it's basically the same thing, right? It's 1 medium laser and heat sinks. If we're going to use them for a sensor suite, maybe we can use them for the sensor suite. Like, I'm not sure how much, I mean, but the thing was they didn't share sensors as a squad. Is that right? Can you rename pilots? You can only rename, we can only rename one of our pilots right now. Basically, certain pilots you can rename the game, some certain you can't. All right. We have to bring 4 of these mechs to the next fight too. They're all going to be back. We're going to bring our biggest 4, of course. So presumably this guy gets out. I'm going to cancel this, and we're going to get refunded a small amount, which I don't think is a full refund, which is annoying. We're going to actually take a look at what it would be to refit this guy. So, of course, we're going to repair this. That's a day. Costs 100. It's interesting that it was charging me 400 then. But anyways, sure. Where are its weapon systems? 2 medium lasers in the center torso. Has no missile hardpoints. It literally only has 2 laser hardpoints, which is part of why apparently it only has 2 fucking lasers. What did this thing do again? The Beagle probe? Don't need all those jump jets. We'll see. 10% increased sensor range, 15% increased sight range, active sensor probes, counters ECM stealth by 2 additional, bonus of 2 additional sensor. Okay. I want this. I want to try this thing. I want to get this thing on this guy. So, all right, heat efficiency on this is really overkill right now. So this thing starts base with too many heat sinks and too many jump jets. I mean, unless we're scouting with it. I mean, we can pull some heat sinks right now. Where are the heat sinks? Are we running any heat sinks? We're not running any heat sinks. So it's base cooling is just, there's one right there. So that's a lie. Its base cooling is pretty good apparently. So where does this go? Put it anywhere presumably? No. Yes. Okay. So where then? We can pull some jump jets out of this maybe. I mean, his range is not terrible, and if we're going to be using it as a scout, the jump jets become better, not worse. There's no more heat sinks to pull that I can see. Its armor is already absolute atrocious garbage, so I don't want to take out any more armor. Look at it. We're only using half of its available armor picks, too. Okay. I need that heat sink. Do I? Just a second. Alpha Strike is 18 heat. So launching the Beagle probe apparently cost me some heat. It's kind of weird, isn't it? No. Heat sinking 27, Alpha Strike 18. Do not need that. If it's not going to shoot, remove the weapons for more armor. If it wasn't going to shoot, that would be the case. But I can't imagine a scenario where I'm not going to try to use it when I have it. You literally need the heatsink for it to be a valid build. Okay, you've now twice backseated the game the shit out of me by giving me a by commanding me to do something. Remove that without giving any impetus as why. The information we have on screen right now says we use less heat than we sink every single day, every single round with the heatsink removed. That's a pretty convincing argument not to have the heatsink. So if you have a counter opinion, and it seems you do, you're going to need to justify that with a bit more than just telling me to do something. All right. Let's rebuild some of our armor too. Look at this. There's no armor in the back. Swap to small lasers. It's an idea. Would give us a little tiny bit of weight back. I think a half a ton. I'm not sure we have 2 small lasers. But maybe. We'll get one when we pull it off. We could also put a plasma torch on here. So what does this guy have for like super shitty punching? Yeah. Means it won't work without a heatsink, like not valid. In terms of what? One or more components that are installed in an invalid location. This mech is overly loud tonnage. Where does this have to be? Does it have to be somewhere else? This is presumably the unit that's uninstalled and not in the right spot. But where does it go? Why does it not tell me it's restricted thing then? Maybe over the sensor basics probably. So we maybe can't fit it here. What if we took... Oh, we can't take this shit out. I want to see where this goes. Okay, so let's revert out of this. And then figure out where the hell that goes. So we'll take our biggest mech, which presumably has the most sensor capacity available to it. Okay. Some engines give you free heatsink slots, basically. You still need to equip heatsinks. I've seen no evidence for that yet. Cannot add no free slots. This is in the wrong spot. No, it's over its allowed tonnage. This is allowed here. Why was it not allowed in that location on the other one? So each engine core carries a certain number of internal heat sinks. If the number on the engine core mouse over shows you have less than 10 internal, you need to make up the rest as part of your build. This will be weightless, but you have to. Internal, standard heat sinks, internal, external. Free 1 of 1. Free 0 of 1. Okay, so that heatsink cost me nothing to have on is what you're telling me. See, that's really useful information. It's just the phrasing's all fucking wrong. It's not a valid build. It suggests... Anyways, sure. That's helpful information. Thank you for that, chat. Hello, Yeflin. Yeah. Okay. So, despite this looking like it weighs 1, it doesn't weigh anything. So when we pull it off, nothing changes. Yeah. Okay. We could make this guy not able to use jump jets or able to use limited jump jets only. This is only all the weight is on this guy, that and the armor. I mean, when we actually repair this and plug in some armor on the back here, like, that goes to total tonnage used here. Can't cut it off the heatsink, apparently, because the heatsink doesn't have any. I don't know where this goes or why it doesn't let me do this. This lets me put it here. So maybe that indicator was from this one. The indicator was from this one. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, I want this fucking beagle probe on. If we pull off the medium lasers and we make it entirely useless, does that work? I mean, it works. Then we'll have heat efficiency. It's not even that big of a bonus. 10% incoming sensor range, 10%, 15% sight radius. God, this mech is so bad. Are all mechs this bad in this game? Like, every time I look at this loadout, I go, this loadout is terrible. Then I look at it and it's like, where are we going to get any more weight from? Pirate power bar didn't drop that much? Yeah, because it starts at fucking negative. So say we pull those off, run a probe. Could drop heatsink jump jets entirely, except I do like the ability to move onto buildings, for example. What does this give us for movement here? Still relatively fast. Max jump range 90 meters. That might be okay. Put the rest of the tonnage into armor. So maybe it won't fucking die the first time something looks at it, breathes on it. Get quite a lot of tonnage out of this. Or quite a lot of armor tonnage. I mean, with these medium lasers, we're really incentivized to get close, though. And this thing does not want to be close to another mech. Do we have a smaller engine? It's an interesting idea. We do. We're going to end up with a slow little mech. It gave us a shit ton of weight back. External heat sinks required 3. These heat sinks are weightless. Do I not have extra heat sinks right now, so I can't even do that? So we'd have to buy some heat sinks for that, which we could do. So that would give us a ton of weight back on this. Makes it quite a bit slower. By how much? Well, we could put the jump jets back on. Yeah, fun. This is a modded version, so anything I did in the previous season is going to be irrelevant. I mean, do we have enough if we put all of these back on? I think we do. Okay, yeah, we have plenty. Still add more armor to that too. Keep the sensor sweet. I like the engine idea. Okay. And is this because it's a less weighty engine, right? So this was what was in there? No, it was engine core 240. Oh, I see. This is a 180. So it slows us down. Still get a lot of max sprint range, max jump range. Okay. I can check store from the menu. Thanks. That's cool. Are there heat sinks here? No. This whole planetary system doesn't have a fucking single heat sink in it. No, really? Oh, this is okay, equipment. Ooh, this ferrofiber's armor. Yes, they do. They do have heat sinks. They have unlimited generic heat sinks. And a heat bank. I don't know what a heat bank is. Allow for more thermal energy collection. 25% maximum heat. -3 heat per turn. So it's like a bad heat sink that allows you to alphabet. No, it's not a bad heat sink. It's like an improved heat sink. This only sinks 3 per. Huh. No, it definitely heat sinks. It says -3 heat per turn, so it's literally a heat sink plus additional. That's new too. It can explode. Well, everything can explode. Uses 2 slots. But those are some pretty powerful bonuses. Is this a very common component, chat? Partial wing system. Traits. -9 heat per turn. What? Weighs 2 tons, 3 slots, but it heats 9. Jump distance. Weighs 70% of a 1/10 of 1. Weighs 70% of 1 in 10 chassis tonnage. Of 1/10 chassis tonnage. Increases jump distance and requires 3 slots per side torso. That's pretty cool. Its large surface area allows a mech to more efficiently radiate excess heat. Oh man, there's a lot of new systems in here. That's cool as shit. Gyro compact. Huh. Patchwork materials. This is a collection of patchwork materials which provides the same degree of protection at a lighter weight, but at the cost of critical slots. Meaning what? Critical slots in what sense? Like I'm losing like number of total slots? And then we have ferrofibrous armor, which is -12% armor weight, 10 fixed slots reserved, 5% Battletech cost, increased tech cost repair armor, 10% cost to timing cost. Man, I want all this. All right, I mean we've already saved, right? Let's see what these fucking things do. This is exciting. We have a shit ton of new equipment that wasn't here in the base game. Oh my god! And the equipment list just goes down. There are mechs here as well? No, there's portions. We've got a bunch of weapon systems that aren't showing at the front page. So this must be generic stuff, right? This is just like stacks of this shit. So when I go to all, are these special things or I just not notice? I just didn't notice. Okay. Get them all, Galvia? Yeah, we're going to get them all and see what they do. Because we want to know. All right, what do these engines do? Are they different? Engine +3. +7. Heat sinks +7, presumably. How do I tell what type of weapons, like, engine it is from a different type of engine? Like, what's the size of this engine? Like, my other engines say things like, oh, but this might be a different component. Like, there might be an engine component and an engine heatsink component. Like, an engine movement component. Yeah, the cores. So there's the core. So this is a different component. I see. There's better sensors here, including a comm suite. +3 increased resolve gain per action modifier of 1 to tactics allows exceeding maximum skill level basic cockpit piloting systems. Ah, look at this. Look at the revamped equipment system. That's pretty fucking sweet. All right. So if we were to buy shit in this system, what could we actually afford? What that really stood out to me as very interesting. So let's go have a look at that. The weight, the lighter weight armors seem very interesting to me. Let's take a look at what those, how those work. And then I wanted to look at this shit too. What is this? The FCS melee. Sensors. What does it do? +1 melee accuracy. Cockpit fire control systems for this targeting weapon. Okay. I want better sensors. Improved call shot location modifier. Advanced zoom accuracy. Thermal vision. Night vision. Okay. And I also wanted to see how these things interacted. Alright, we're going to buy all these just to play around with them in the mech bay. I understand that we're not going to keep this. We'll just load in a second. But I want to see what this shit does. Alright, so what does this shit do? Back in the spider. So presumably this is a... So this is... Okay, so this is coolant. +3 heat sinks. So the basic one here is a 0 coolant. Tonnage, slots, value. Shouldn't it tell me that it has some element of heat sinks there? So presumably then we're like gonna, if I drag this, if I were to drag this over, and I understand we're not gonna do that, but if I were, oh, it goes there. Ah. -21 heat, SHS7. SHS. Standard heat sinks. 7 internal. What does this one have then? If I drag that over. That is 7 internal, 3 external that are free. I see. So that's what the +3 is. So is the other one a +1 then, or is just +1 the default? Because this is presumably a +1. Okay. Alright, where's my wingsuit? I wanted the wing equipment. Did I not buy that? Shit, I wanted to check that out. That looks super cool. Alright, let's look like a patchwork material. So this presumably replaces the armor component. Cannot add patchwork materials, not enough free slots. Where does it take them? Cost of critical slots. What is a critical slot? Smaller engines require you to add external heat sinks. Bigger engines allow you to add more heat sinks to the engine to save equipment slots, but are more expensive. Okay. Can we reduce it? It goes anywhere? It's not a replacement? But what critical slot did we take? We just took a 1. It just takes 1 critical slot? And it's minus 0.2 tons. Alright, that's not that exciting. We need like a bunch of these to be exciting. Alright, and where's this go? This is an armor. Tell me this is an armor replacement. This is an armor replacement. Okay, so it throws in these. Dynamic slots, something new too. So it puts them somewhere and gets us weight back. Cool. Alright. I like this a lot, chat. This is so much more customization of the mechs than previously available to us. That's super fucking cool. There's so many things we've just seen. I want to go check out the wingsuit shit too. Before we go out that. Let's go find what was that? Trouble first time. Yeah, that's neat, Iron Hand. That's a good idea. I'm glad, because a lot of the immersion of this game is building your own mechs, so it looks like we are given more options on doing that. I'm sorry that it takes so long for me to parse through the new systems chat and figure it out, but once we get going with that, it should allow a lot of neat things. Like right up there, it says stealth armor can't be multi-targeted. Yeah, we can figure that out. The jamming and the ECM and subsystem stuff looks neat too. All right. I wonder how much of our initial bankroll we're going to sell here. I think we're going to buy a couple cool things, but I want to try the, yeah, the wingsuit shit. Because if that's a better heatsink as well as letting us fly further, like what a great upgrade for the Hunchback, right? Our primary alpha, we can alpha people from behind repeatedly with that thing if that's really what it's letting us do. So let's check out the store, pick up the equipment again. And it was something bizarre. There it was. Partial wing system. Let's grab that. Take a look at what that looks like. Anything else we want to just see how it interacts? Yeah, some of the comm suite stuff, like this thing.
New equipment available.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into the mech bay again. Take a look at our hunchback. And with our hunchback, look at our equipment. The partial wing system. Components not permitted in left torso. Where does it need to be? Requires 3 per torso. Sure. 3 slots per side torso. Okay. Does it also require the center torso? Oh, it made me put it in the left side. And then auto added it to the right side. Yeah. Okay, fine. Alright, 30% jump range. -9 heat per turn, so it's 3 heat sinks worth of value. It almost pays for itself then, right? The tonnage is 1. So this just takes slots up, but eats the tonnage back. So I mean, if we pull these heat sinks off, for example, this is the same heat dissipation as we had before. Maybe 70% of the chassis. So we gained a little tiny bit of weight, but gained 30% jump distance. That's pretty sick. Like, how much jump distance? Well, no jump jets on this makes it slightly different jump jets. But I mean, if we had put jump jets on it, what would it give us? Certainly the range is not so great when you do, you know, 30% extra of 0. But assuming we wanted to fly around, this brings us from jump jet range of 150 meters to, it brings us up to 150 from what? 150. Chad, my math isn't great here, but generally when you improve something by 30%, you see some sort of increase in the final number, right? That's what that means. Didn't cost me 6 slots, it cost me 3 slots if I can remove 3 heat sinks. This might be display bugged. I think it's actually... Anyone seen it actually work in game? Because that seems really powerful to me. Still worked in game? Okay, that's good to know. That's fine. So if we can do 30% of this, which is not too bad. So we get another so what is it, 5 per third, right? So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to do movement here. So we get it to like 180. Was it 30% or a third? Oh my god. Okay, 30% of this. So what's a third of 150? It's 50. So we get another 50 on top of this, bring it up to 200 max range. That seems pretty fucking nice. Or right around. Yeah, 33% as opposed to 30. That's pretty good. And that's double our max move. That makes us super mobile for jumping behind shit. It's gonna really fuck with our heat for that, but this dissipates heat too. That seems like a really cool system. I want one of those. All right. What's the other equipment that we're looking at? The probe. The probe was interesting, but we got those automatically. We was looking at these things, right? +3 increased resolve gain per action modifier. No. +3 increased resolve per action. That seems nice. So our resolve goes up faster. Modifier of... Is that per... That's per round, I assume, I guess. And a modifier of 1 to tactics allows exceeding that. Basic pilot... What does it weigh something more? Where does it replace? Presumably sensor basic. Wait. It replaces the cockpit? It does. And what does the cockpit weigh? So it doesn't actually increase anything then. 30% jump range equals 30% less heat from jumping. Why would that be true? If it's always jumping, give it a smaller, lighter engine. Also an interesting idea. +3 resolve, +1 tactics. Huh. Cool. More customization. Those both seem very powerful. All right. Anything else? Okay, so we should we're gonna buy some shit, chat, because we're gonna check out these new things and plug them in and have a lot of fun with it, I think. So let's figure out what we're gonna buy. % jump blade equals 30% less heat from jumping because you would otherwise use jump jets instead. I don't parse that correctly. I don't understand what you're saying with that. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that a max burn of your jump jets uses X heat. So if you have your max range increases, maybe if it works that way, maybe it doesn't work that way. I mean, I guess if you look at it that way. For example, if it charges us more heat to go further, which is what I assumed it would do. I don't know. I did rank by Bard. I tweeted about it today. And also posted in our Battle Brothers. They have better sensors in the store. Yeah, we were working towards better sensors for sure. Ah, no problem, man. I didn't say much. I just said that they're teasing something. We'll see how much content there is out of it. Okay, store. We have 2.7 million. We need enough to be repairing stuff. So I probably don't want to spend more than about 2 million, if even that. I want a partial wing system because it was cool, and I'm not sure how many there's going to be. Wait, did anyone else just see that? Oh, because it was like here. That looks like it's done. The ferrofibrous also sounded pretty good to me. Patrick materials, they had 2 of. And each one, I equipped this, and each one is less weight.
Gleaming endowment.
Pericles with a $30 donation. Thank you very much,
Many
Pericles.
thanks for your always informative and enjoyable content. It is greatly appreciated. Cheers.
It just so happens, appreciate the support, man. Thanks for the kind words as well. It just so happens we have somebody who needs a rename. So, Pericles joins the roster. Welcome. Let's make sure we get that saved so I remember. Okay. Okay. I like the overhaul mod over the base game. It's pretty early days yet. I like complexity, and there's a lot of complexity here. What I don't like is complexity without meaning, and we don't know if we're there yet. So I'll answer that in a couple more days of playing, probably. All right. Buying patches materials usually isn't worth it since they're super expensive. They didn't seem super expensive. It seemed like they were like, oh, $1 million is actually fairly expensive. That was good. This is jump jet heavy and jump jet assault. Another engine core. The engine cores are very expensive as well. Good to know. I wanted some improved sensor suite, so I got to figure that out. This improves the called shot modifier. I wish it said what it replaced on it. Might actually say basic upgraded FCS, improving the unit's targeted systems. Okay. Zoom accuracy, thermal vision, night vision, cockpit fire control. Okay. I don't think we want that. This was melee accuracy. And they're all the same color. So maybe it's color coded. Maybe these are all cockpit replacements here. That was a +3 resolve. So we're going to get to our accuracy boost faster. Seems like that's probably worth running on somebody. I'm probably going to buy that. That brings us up to spending 1, and so ferrofibrous is 302 plus the wing systems is 800k plus a comm suite here. Call that 600,000 with the other rounding. So we're at 1.4 million right now. Leaves us 1.3. Sensors powered. Increased sensor range. Increased sight range. Stacking bonus of 3 to sensor checks made by this unit provides additional sensor information. probably buying that. It says cockpit in the tooltip. Where? Tonnage, slots, value, traits, manufacturer, critical hits. This one says sensors, and this one says cockpit. It says basic cockpit piloting systems, and this one says cockpit sensor suite. I think they're both cockpit increases. I really do. Okay. Green box one at the bottom. Oh, it says cockpit with the green box. And this one says sensors. Hey, look at that. This is FCS. So these are actually different. So these two are the same one. Okay. And if we, and maybe this is just, again, no familiarity with the new mech bay yet, which is, so let's see if we can figure out where those are. Those are in here, right? So that's FCS, that's cockpit, that's sensors. Got it. Okay. And then we have some actual sensor upgrades in addition to the cockpit sensor upgrades. The cockpit sensor upgrades are free on weight because they're replacing a component that's just less good, basically. Okay. All right, let's buy those and move on. All right, store. Maybe spending too much to begin with, but I want some of these components. We're gonna feel really bad when we encounter some like super fancy rare gun that we can't get because of it, but hey Billy. I want some ferrofibrous.
New equipment
I want
available.
the partial wing system,
New equipment available.
and I want the comm suite. I think. Oh, that one was less important to me. That seems nice, but it's less important than the annoyance of being unable to penetrate their actual stuff. Tracking bonus of 3 applied. Stacking bonus of 3 to sensor checks made by this unit provides additional sensor information. What does that mean? Stacking bonus of 3 to sensor checks. Like every round I go from 3 to 6 to 9 to 12, etc. Like, is it just per round it gets stronger and stronger and stronger? Seems like that would be unlikely to happen. No one's quite sure what it does. Well, if no one's quite sure what it does, I'm pretty certain that means we have to use it. All right. The fact this is double plus comm suite too feels pretty good. I think we're gonna click. All right, we're gonna spend a little money.
Available.
Okay. Turns out, Filthy as a commander's a big spender. Oh, and I wanted this too. I mean, do we need money for anything, really? Do we like the idea that pressurized coolant can explode? I mean, clearly. Yeah, heat banks seem really, really good from the description. All right, that's fine.
New
Spend a little bit more than we wanted.
available.
Okay. It's fine. Okay. Now we have fittings to do. We already decided what we were doing with this, mostly. But not quite, because now we have some extra components to put into it. I thought, so last time we stripped 2 heat sinks and a small laser and put on jump jets, which I think were pretty clutch on this. And additionally to that, we're going to strip another heatsink here. 1, 2, 3. And get our partial wing system on like that for range on our Hunchback. This is up to 5 days. We only have 8 days to do this. This is a pretty big refit for us in terms of timing. Could lower its armor. It seems like this is going to be our premier mech. We might want to do that. We need to get this repaired to basically the previous values, which kind of sucks. So I don't actually want these previous values. Actually, I'm not going to repair that beyond 60. Okay. Need to paint it red. Yes. Alright. So it's 1 day to repair the shitter. Can bring this up to this amount in 5 days. This is our primary fighting mech. This needs to go up a little bit. I think I wanted it at 90. Okay, I have half a ton remaining. I don't want to remove... I'm going to let the next couple combats slowly whittle its arms down. Alright. It's probably over... So we pulled off 2 and 1. It's probably over heat right now, right? So heat efficiency is Alpha Strike 72. Does that include the jump jets? It must, right? Because our pulse lasers are not generating 72 heat, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 medium lasers. And each medium laser is 9. No, that's definitely 8 9s are definitely 72. So that is, in fact, how much heat we're generating per round. Where was our fancy new thing that we picked up too? The heat thing. And this one. No, the heat bank. So that was the equivalent of 3 heat sinks, right? No, 1 heat sink. Okay. Yeah, could put the ferrofibers in. I do eventually want to be able to fit another fucking gun on this thing since it has another gun slot. And the whole point of a laser boat like this is it's alpha, in my opinion. So... it requires 10... Cannot add it to the right arm, something, something. Components not permitted in this location. Put a smaller engine in, maybe. It's armor. Oh, I see, it goes over armor. Thanks. Dumps the ferrofibers, dynamic slots in the arm, which I think is okay. Oh, I don't know what happens if it gets blown off. Okay, we're up to 7 days repair time. We're only allowed 8. Although this, look how much sweeter this mech is becoming. It's so much sweeter already. And then we could make it like its engine, lower its engine. I don't know what the 180 is a little bit less, but not much. I'm not sure we have a small enough engine for it right now. If we did do that, doesn't add a day. We're up to 180,000 in terms of cost, or 118,000 in terms of refit cost. Jesus. One or more components are installed in a invalid location. Where is the invalid location? I don't want that there either. If I were to put that small laser back, will it move the thing? It will. Let me pull it off again now. Need more heat sinks because of the engine. I see. Right. Requires 3 of 3 external. No, it has those already. I think. If I'm understanding that correctly. Internal free is 7. External free 3 of 3. Additional 6. Does that mean I have to put an additional 6 in to run this? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have a million of those. Why would I need more heat sinks? I don't. Okay, chat, explain this to me because I thought we got this now. I'm not so sure we do. So this says, and this is a different component anyways. What does this say? This, okay. Doesn't tell me anything. This tells me we have 7 free internal ones And then we have to have 3 external ones. We have more than 3 externals. You only need 3 with that because it says 7. What? Heat sinks aren't my issue. That makes more sense to me. Too many jump jets. Oh, it's only allowed 3 jump jets. Ah. Thanks. Surprised they let me drag it in. Okay.